So today we have the incredible Ush, who is
Thank
running
you.
1 out of 4 sessions with us. So the next 4 sessions we've run, this is the second session. We've got 2 more with Ush. And today's topic is gratefulness. Ush, how did you become familiar with the topic of gratitude? And what tools are your favorite tools that you've used over the past? Who were like the inspiration? Because it's now a very important topic, but it seems like a lot of leaders have been using these secret little tools for many years. So, what was your experience on finding the tools and the power of being grateful?
Yeah, I've been using the power of gratitude for years now, but I came across it because I'm a big researcher, fan, and lover of energy. And, I've got one of those sayings that your energy speaks before you do. And as a keynote speaker, that is crucial, right? And then just learning about energy, it was all about tapping into the right frequency to attract what you need. But to do that, you have to have a state of gratitude and the emotion of gratitude. So, that's how I came across it, and I'm really excited for today's session because, like you said, there's like so many you know, uh, tips and everything on the internet around how to practice gratitude. But I want to sort of go around the science side of it, what happens to our brain, and how do we imprint the emotion of gratitude within us. So there's going to be a few things that you might not have heard of in today's session, hopefully.
Amazing, amazing. We look forward. So, over to you, Ush. I'll be doing the clicking, so just let me know what you want me to do. You're the
Thank
boss, and I'll
you.
just
That would be
help you.
great. So you guys might have heard of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Love, 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 love the stuff that's come out from him. So check him out for a little bit more inspiration. And I love this quote, which is saying that, learn to cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you and to give thanks continuously. So it's not just as a one-off, but it's basically being able to stay in that space of gratitude for a while, because all things have contributed to your advancement and you should include all things within your gratitude. So it's just a really nice reminder to go that everything that happens in life, whether we perceive that as a setback or a failure or whatever that may look like, or a lesson, it's actually something that we need to be grateful for all of the stuff that comes our way. So, yeah, it's just a great way to remind ourselves to be in that state. And I like also explaining that gratitude is an emotion, obviously, to talk about emotions being an EQ, which is similar to appreciation. So if you imagine that emotion of appreciating someone or something in your life, that is basically what gratitude is. Yeah, because there's so many definitions of what gratitude is out there, and it's great that we understand the words behind what the meaning of gratitude is, but it's also important to know what that feeling is. Yeah. So we can really emotionalize with that word. And it's basically, like I just said 2 seconds ago, that it's expressing thanks for even the challenging times that we have and being in that state and emotion of appreciation. So let's define what we mean by the word gratitude. So, the main thing when we ask this question, we're coaching and we say, what's the first words that come to your mind when you hear the word gratitude? And it's always about giving thanks or thank you. Yeah, that's probably what you think of as well when you hear the word gratitude to someone that has helped you or even given you a gift, right? We're just very appreciative. We say thank you. But as I mentioned just earlier, from an EQ perspective, it's not just an action, it's not just words to say thank you, but it's also a positive emotion, which actually does have a biological purpose. And we're going to tap into a little bit of that today, which is what makes this session amazing. So hopefully by the end of it, I know we are going to be in a state of gratitude that you've joined us, and hopefully you guys will be too. And I just wanted to also share something here about the 2 stages of gratitude, which I don't think a lot of people are aware of. And the first one comes from acknowledging the goodness in your life. So, being in that state of gratitude, just the fact that we're alive, we say yes to life, all of the good things that come in our lives that makes us want to wake up every day. Yeah. So that's that first state of literally being thankful for when we open our eyes and we have, another day there that we can live and breathe in. And then the second to that is going a little bit deeper, and it's also recognizing Why are you grateful for the day that you have? What is the goodness that has happened in your day? Who are the people that have come into your life today that you are grateful for? To the animals, to the world, not just you, but all the things that are coming into your life. Yeah. So to recap, the first stage is the fact that you've woken up and you've got life on that day. And the second one is, what are you grateful for the things that are coming into your life? And you guys might have heard of the phrase attitude of gratitude. Yeah. And that's something that I teach kids all the time with that phrase, because it's just a good reminder to be in that state. And it's also been proven that the people that have the natural tendency around the attitude of gratitude will actually experience lower levels of stress. Yeah. So it's actually scientifically proven to reduce stress levels. And there was a study done by someone called Seligman, and they gave participants a week to write and deliver a letter of thanks in person to someone who had been especially kind to them but who had never been properly thanked. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing to do, especially now as we're all coming out of lockdown and getting a little bit more freedom. It's just, I really encourage you guys to try that and give it a go. Write a little letter. And, we've sometimes lost the art of being able to write, just pen to paper and actually giving that in person to someone. And how nice is it when you receive a card in the mail, right? That's handwritten these days, as opposed to an e-card. So definitely evokes a beautiful emotion when we do that. And then the gratitude visit involves three basic steps. So this is something else I want you guys to think of doing is think of someone who has done something important and wonderful for you and who you feel you have not properly thanked. And then next, what you want to do is reflect on the benefits that you receive from this person and write your letter expressing the gratitude for all that they have done for you. And then finally, arrange to deliver that letter personally and spend some time with that person talking about what you wrote. So what that's doing there is not only are you in the act of gratitude by saying it, writing it, but you're then also spending that time with that person. You're transferring energy, you're vibing off each other literally when you're in that space. And how good does that feel, right? Even just talking about it, you're like, that would be a really nice thing to do. And the results of this showed that the people that did engage in the letter writing exercise reported more happiness for like a whole month after the actual incident compared to a control group. So it really, really does have almost like a catalyst effect because all of those positive emotions that you're experiencing from a month, imagine using those positive emotions as a platform for doing amazing things within your business or your life because you've almost like if you imagine the bars here and you've done this and for a month you've raised the bar so you're on a better platform for that month to sort of really leverage your results for that month and moving forwards as well. And then a little bit around the science of gratitude, which I think is so important and we don't really talk about enough. And the science basically says that having your attitude to gratitude actually does change the way that your brain functions, works, and looks. So when your brain feels gratitude, there are parts of the brain that are activated, and that is the ventral and dorsal prefrontal cortex. So it's that bit that's at the front of your brain. And these areas are involved in feelings of reward. And when you're in reward, that stress is removed. And then you've got morality, interpersonal bonding, and positive social interactions. And that will really, really leverage your understanding of what people are thinking and feeling around you. So it really does have an impact, on the way that you feel and then also neurologically as well. So yeah, give it a go. And also, gratitude has the capacity to increase really important neurochemicals in our brains. So, what happens is when your thinking shifts from a negative state to a positive state because you're in gratitude mode, there's a surge of feel good chemicals that go out in your brain, which is dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. And we've all experienced those rushes, yeah, of when we feel those good vibes and good things and they all contribute to that feeling of closeness. You feel really connected, and that leads to happiness and joy, not only with the people that surround you, but with the things that come your way, and in life in general. So it really, really does scientifically promise you make a difference. So, one of the things that you guys may not know about gratitude is the word consistency, which is really, really important. And I know that some people go, oh, when I remember to be grateful, I will actually say it and do it. But what happens is your brain needs almost that repetition of being in that state of gratitude. So, it's really important to try and do it daily. I mean, daily should be ideal, and there's totally different ways you can do it. But for me, I've just got this. I don't know if you can see it. This yellow little journal that I keep on my desk, and before I start my day every single morning, I will write down three things that I was grateful for either the day before or something that's coming up in the day, and it just becomes a bit of a habit because it's on my desk. I see it, and I'm like, okay, it's just a really good way to start your day. Other people I know that have incorporated it within their habits is they do it while they're brushing their teeth every morning because hopefully that happens to everyone every day. And it's just a good reminder to go while I'm brushing my teeth or I'm having a shower in the morning. What are the things that I'm really grateful for? So if you can build the the practice into a routine that you know you're going to do every day, then it's a really good way to do it. So mine's journaling in the morning, but I also have a new puppy that's been in my life now for about 5 days. And I thought it's a perfect time when I take her out for a walk to really incorporate that on my walk and share it with my puppy at the same time. So, and that's my cat over there. um, so yeah, so just try and incorporate it into something that you know that you can do in your routine, which will really help with the consistency. Um, so the other thing to think about is as humans, we have a negativity bias, okay? And what that means is that we are almost wired to sometimes think in the negative as opposed to the positive, or we notice threats that are in our environment. And it's just a thing that we have as humans, which is a good thing because it can keep us alive. But we also want to be happy. We want to be in that state of happiness. So if there's too much, if you feel that your bias, your negativity bias is quite large and you're focusing a lot more on the negative, then really get into that consistency of practicing that gratitude, and it will actually nurture a more positive focus for you. And it will keep reminding your brain to go, okay, I get it. Yes, I have a negative bias, but I need to shift myself, have that self awareness, and start moving into the feel goods and spend less time hanging on to the stresses. So we all have it, okay? We all have a negative bias. Just think about how often it comes up for you and what are you going to do to change that. Another tip as well, which again isn't talked about a lot, so consistency was one. Second one is really to hold the feeling. Okay, so don't make it fleeting. Like we're really, really quick to go, oh yeah, I'm grateful for my friends, and then move on, right? So, or I'm grateful for my puppy, I'm grateful for the food that I had, and then we don't really savor that moment and really enjoy that feeling of gratitude. So when with the brain primed to notice the negatives, we not only need to teach it to turn into the positive, like I've just mentioned, but you want to hold on to that positive feeling for as long as possible to have optimum effect. Yeah. So it's almost like, you know, that whole thing they say, don't eat your food too quickly, like just be present, enjoy it, chew it, God knows how many times. I think it's about 40, which I can never do, and I've tried it. I'm more like 4 bites, like, and it's like swallowed. Um, so yeah, just try and hold on to that emotion, and in whatever way that works for you, whether you're just closing your eyes, you're just thinking more about that feeling or that person. Um, but yeah, the longer you can hold on to it, the more that your brain will adapt to it and start to shift. So how do you practice it? Like there's loads and loads of different ways, and you've just got to try a few different things. If you're not used to practicing it, it's important that you try different methods, and you know you automatically be drawn to something that works for you, whether that's journaling. There's also some really cool gratitude apps that you can download. If you just go into the app store and just put in gratitude, they will all come up. There's just too many of them to share here and mention, but some people prefer to have it as an app because they're on their phone all the time anyway, and it just means they can go into the app, and write down what it is that they're grateful for there. Some people like me prefer the writing aspect of it as well. So try that. But the other tip here is to keep it new and fresh, but have that consistency. So the more we give variety to our brain for the things that we are grateful for, the more our brain is going to be happy and enjoy that moment. So think of different things that you can put into your list. So here's 3 ideas that I want to share with you to cultivate gratitude. So this is something called 3 things a day for 66 days. Now, I know when I've run a lot of face-to-face sessions with Paula, at the Academy of Entrepreneurs in the city, we have this debate about, is it 21 days? Is it, 30 days? Is it 31 days? The optimum time is 66 days. And I've told that to all these guys, all these students that I've coached with Paula's team. And I've actually had people respond saying they have done it for 66 days straight and they've noticed a difference. Now, I'm going to be quite harsh and say if you miss a day, go back to day one. And what you want to try and do is do 66 consecutive days where you want to write down 3 things that have happened in the previous 24 hours that you are grateful for. And it's not that hard to do. If you're quite visual, when I was doing this exercise, when I learned about the 66 days, I literally had a big calendar and I marked 66 days, and every single day I would write it on that calendar. So you can actually see those days count down as a nice bit of a visual for you as well. And if you've got kids, it's something fun to do with them as well, where they can, put gold stars, for 66 days and start writing things, even if it's just, 3 things that are the same for kids, just getting into the habit for the continuous 66 days. And when you go back to day one, you're like, man, I was at like day 34. I have to go back to day one because I missed a day. So it's a little bit painful, but it works. And if anyone's here is going to give it a go, please reach out and let me know how you felt after the 66 days, because we've had some phenomenal results happen when people have tried it. So why 66 days? Like I said, there's loads of things there that research says that for 21 days you cultivate habits, for 31 days it becomes ingrained, but 66 days is what it takes to train your brain to look at the same thing in a different way. Yeah. So what I mean by that is, let's say you drive somewhere from home to work, or you've got the same routine. Have you ever noticed that you've gone to that destination, you don't even know how you got there because you've just gone on autopilot, right? And then there's a day where there's a detour or a road has closed and your brain is going, whoa, like I'm really confused. I have to actually concentrate on my route today and think about where I'm going. So that's what's happening here is your brain is learning just a different path. And it will also knock out that negativity bias that we spoke about. And by the end of the 66 days, if it's continuous, you'll notice that you will look at the same situation differently. So the same situation that may have caused you stress or anxiety or nervousness in the past, after 66 days straight, you will look at that and you will actually go, you know what? Yeah, I feel different. And when you have that awareness that you can look at that same situation and feel different, it is really, really powerful. It's such a powerful feeling. So yeah, give that a go. And then the other thing just to mention there is be a little bit specific as well in those 66 days. So like I mentioned earlier, don't keep it generic like I am grateful for my friends. Name someone that's made an impact on you that day and write their name down and write down what act it specifically was. So for me, it will be things like, I'm grateful that I met, you know, Sandra and she bought me coffee when we caught up. Yeah, so like actually specifically, who are you thankful for and why? And what was that act that they did? This is an interesting one as well that isn't really talked about, but I love this one. And it takes a little bit of time, but it's a really positive, feel good thing to do. And what you want to do is take a positive experience, and it could be anything, right? It could be a text that you got, it could be catching up with a friend, anything that you think is a positive experience. And you just need to spend 2 minutes, it's not that long, 2 minutes, and you write down the detail about what happened. Okay. And you can do it in a list form, so it's pretty quick. but do it for 21 days. And now what you're doing there is, as you are remembering your positive experience, your brain labels it as, oh, this is something that's really important. And it imprints on your brain, and that deepens that connection to that moment. Um, I was a little bit skeptical, to be honest, when I tried it, but my coach literally made me do this for 21 days. Again, if I missed it, I had to go back to day one. So I literally had the 66 days exercise going, and I had the 21 days exercise going at the same time. Yeah. So obviously within 66 days, we've done both, but it only takes 2 minutes, and people are like, oh, like this is a lot to do, but it's not really, right? Like if we can spend 2 minutes a day on this exercise, and you know that it's going to literally change the neurons in your brain and rewire your negative bias, it is so worth doing, right? And trust me, it's cheaper than any therapy you can get out there as well. So give it a go. It's only 2 minutes. And the other reason why it works is this: because the brain can't tell the difference between an actual experience that you've gone through, i.e., meeting your friend for coffee and having a really good chat, or visualizing on that experience. Yeah. So you might have heard of that before, where you might have seen studies where athletes actually practice the 21 days, let's say, how to put a golf ball, into that hole, or shoot a basketball hoop. And then there's a group of people that don't actually go and do it physically, but they visualize it at night before they go to bed, how they're going to shoot that basketball through the hoop. And they've actually said that the people that are visualized have had actually better results than the people that have actually physically gone out and do it. And the reason for that is because when you're visualizing that, your brain actually starts picking up things, and it forces your brain to visualize it with more power than if you were actually doing the activity. So um, it's a really really cool thing to do, and again, it doesn't take long. It takes a couple of minutes to do. So if you can reinforce this with the other two ideas, you're going to feel pretty amazing in 66 days. And then the other one we literally just mentioned a little while ago is about this whole letter thing. And I know people that have written them, but you don't have to send the letters, okay? So if you are a little bit uncomfortable about physically meeting that person and giving them the letter, then what I want you to do is try this one is, once a week, write a letter to someone that you're thankful for. It doesn't have to be long. And you don't have to send it, but the effect of writing will stay with you for months and months after the exercise. And it's literally, researchers have done looked at brain science in this, and they said it's like profound and long lasting. So I just want you guys to give that a go, even if you don't feel comfortable meeting them. Um, Spend 20 minutes a week exercising on this. And finally, gratitude rewires your brain so you become more likely to focus on the positives in the world than that negatives, which goes back to that negative bias. It doesn't mean that we're going to be ignorant of danger. Yeah, people always go, oh my God, if I'm always positive, am I going to miss out something really bad happening? No, it's not. Your brain will still perceive danger. It's okay. It just means that more often than not, it's going to be in a state of positivity. You'll be in a state of appreciation, which will lead to more happiness and joy from an emotions point of view. And those happy and positive emotions raise your energy and your vibration, which will in turn, you'll attract more good. So it's a really cool little cycle, that you see there that can happen. So yeah, give it a go and just see the impact that it has on you at the end of those 66 days. Based on the ability to cultivate that habit for 66 days, or in this guy's case, 365 days, I just want to share this short video with you guys. It's not long, it's about 6 minutes, but I just want you guys to watch it, listen to it, and see the effect that it's actually had.
I was so close to dying that day, and I was only 18 years old. Let me take you back. On January 1st, 2012, I was in a car with two of my best friends. We had just rung in the new year, shopping, listening to music, just doing things as usual. And on the drive home that day, on a road actually not too far from here, there was a car on the other side of the street that started to flash its bright lights at me, repeatedly, annoyingly. And it turned out that what it was trying to do was alert me of a car in my lane on the wrong side of the road, coming directly at us at a speed much faster than we were going. And before I knew it, it was so close that I could actually read the letters and the numbers of the license plate. And that's when I realized that if I did not move our car right then, we would be dead. After a quick swerve and just barely missing the car, we stabilized on the side of the road and were finally able to catch a breath. I had tears in my eyes. We had almost just died. And with my hands clamped on the steering wheel and my mind racing, I remember thinking of one thing in particular. And that was, where did I stand in that moment with the relationships in my life? I thought about when I left the house that morning. What were the last words that I said to my mom? Did I say, I love you? Or did I just rush out the door like usual? And I thought about my friends, be it my best friends or those who I hadn't spoken to in years. And did they know how much I appreciated them? I went home that night incredibly flustered, and I thought about this for a while, about 11 months actually, until Thanksgiving Day last year, when I found myself in New York City in my aunt's apartment, sitting on her couch, about to go to sleep for the night. I was on my phone, as we all are, flicking through the Facebook statuses of the day, and I could see how people were expressing their thanks and their gratitude to those in their lives. And as I kept scrolling, I suddenly became so puzzled. And I thought to myself, why on earth does this have to just be one day? Or better yet, why only here online? Why can't we do something more, something deeper, something more meaningful? And that's when the light bulb went off in my head. I sat up and I literally said out loud, I have an idea. So naturally, I told my world. I made a Facebook status about it. And I said that I had this idea where for the next 365 days, I was going to try and say thank you to one person every single day with no repeats. I would either call them up or I would sit down with them in person. And I would tell them thank you for the meaning that they've had in my life, for the impact that they had made. And at the end of the day, I would write a blog post about them, first speaking to their individuality, and then thanking them again for all that they had done. Now, at the time, it was just an idea, and I had absolutely no clue where this would take me, but I went for it. So I started the next day. The first person I thanked was my best friend in a coffee shop in New York City, and it felt so different, but it was so much fun at the same time. Nonetheless, boom, one down, 364 to go. Now, as I continued, I thanked different high school teachers. I thanked different mentors in my life, artists, friends. And before I knew it, I found myself at number 170, my dad. Now, I knew I wanted to thank him in person, so I waited until I flew home from school. And on my first day back, I found myself with him on the golf course, a place we hadn't been together in years. And as the day went on, I kept trying to find him alone, but it was tough, and I was nervous. So nervous, in fact, that when I finally had him sitting alone on a bench, waiting for the couple in front of us to play, I could literally feel my heart pounding in my chest. And I remember thinking to myself, why? All you're doing is saying thank you to him. That's literally it. But this was new. This was different. I had never in my entire life just sat down with my dad only to say thank you. Never. Now, as I finally started the conversation, I thanked him for everything. I thanked him for the lessons I had learned from him and for the adventures we'd been on together and for the foods that he's made me try reluctantly. And for the times when he'd pull me back on a walk and say, Brian, come here. Look at the way the sunlight is hitting that cloud right now. Isn't that gorgeous? I thanked him for how he's helped develop me into who I am today. His reaction was humble, and yet we would embark on a 2-hour conversation about our relationship. And ever since, I feel like something has been unlocked. I felt like I've been more open with him and I felt happier. I felt like I had released this secret that I've kept hidden forever. And yes, I'm gay, and he's known that for years. But for some reason, voicing my appreciation to him was more nerve-wracking and more stressful than coming out to my own father as gay. Why is that? All I was doing was saying thank you to him. That's it. Again, it's because I had never done this. It was foreign to me. And yet, ever since, our bond has grown so much stronger, more tangible, much more real. Now, I pushed on forward and I thanked my kindergarten teacher. I thanked my high school soccer coach. I thanked other friends of mine. And I found myself at number 249. I was back here in San Diego for a few weeks over the summer, and On the drive home that day, I pulled over to the side of the road to take a phone call from my friend Kayla back in DC. And as I was on the phone with her, I was looking through the window of my car and I could see this guy walking with his mom. And as he got about parallel to my car, I realized that, oh, that was David. Now, David was this kid who I had gone to elementary school with. And truthfully, I'd never said more than 10 words to him growing up, and neither him to me. But I noticed him. You see, David has Asperger's syndrome. And growing up, he was bullied a lot. And I was always amazed at how he would just let the comments roll off his back, how he would keep his head held high through it all. And I realized how much I learned from him. I learned how to be proud of who I am. I learned how to be confident. I learned how to have a thick skin. And as I was remembering all of this, it just clicked. And I literally dropped the phone with Kayla still on the line, and I rolled down the window and I yelled across the street, David, can you come here for a second? I want to tell you something. As he came over, I reminded him who I was, and I thanked him right there through the window for the influence that he's had in my life. And as I was doing that, his mom, who was standing just a few steps back with her hands over her face, I could tell that she was crying. And that's when I realized that maybe David has never heard this before. Think about that. You see, people don't know we appreciate them unless we show it, unless we verbalize it. We hope they do, and we think that they know, and we assume that they know, but they honestly just don't unless we tell them. Now, as I've continued, this has become more than just a project. It's become a way of life for me. It's become natural. Truth be told, I honestly cannot remember what it feels like to not say thank you to someone like this every single day. I wake up every morning, and the first thing I think is, who am I going to say thank you to today? And for what? Instead of, man, this class is going to suck. And then I spend the rest of my day looking for the good. And honestly, it is absolutely everywhere. But in reality, we all appreciate, right? I know we at least think about it, but how often do we actually say it? I spent a lot of time and months now thinking about how do I want to end my project, my 365th thank you, rounding out my year, completing this journey. And after months of deliberation and stress, I know that I found the perfect fit for it. My 365th thank you is actually to all of you, right here in front of me. All of you are sitting here with such eager eyes and bright minds and truly have the potential, the unlimited potential, to change our community right here and our world at large. And for that, I have to say thank you. Thank you so much just for listening and for being open to these new ideas and experiences, and for taking what you've heard here today and for putting it into action tomorrow. And with that, I really want to call on us to think about these people in our lives that we appreciate, those that we have gratitude for, those that we're thankful for, whether it's a best friend who you've known for years, or maybe it's a loved one, or maybe it's somebody who held the door open for you here today. And really think about what have they played a role in your life. And let's not stop there. Let's say it. Let's tell them before it's too late. Thank you so much.
I love that. I really, really like that. And I think it's so true because I know I think it a lot, but I don't express it as much as I should. So yeah, since listening to that video, I've actively, when I prepared for this like a week ago, going, right, this whole week, I'm going to make an effort, whether it's where I get my coffee from, whether it's to my child, whether it's to my parents when I speak to them on the phone, or my friends, and it feels freaking amazing. It really does. And don't get me wrong, there are times that it's awkward with certain people because you don't know how it's going to be received. But I think, challenge yourselves, push yourselves out of your comfort zone and go, I am actually going to do this. And I know Paula loves this when she picked up on it once when I did a live session, but you basically can't feel envious or stressed and grateful at the same time because they're incompatible feelings. Because if you're grateful for something, you actually can't resent someone for owning things that you don't. And I coach a lot on this when we go into the comparison trap, right? Like it's really easy as entrepreneurs to, look at other people around us and go, you know what, they've done better than us. They're making more money than us. They've got better clients than us. They're busy all the time. They feel really good. And then you look at yourself and go, man, I wish I was like them, or I wish I was better. And it's okay to fall into the comparison trap. It makes us human, but if you notice that happens to you, I just want you to start feeling really grateful. Like, feel grateful for what you've got, feel and be happy for them. Feel really grateful that they're in an amazing place, and watch what happens to those feelings of envy and jealousy. They literally just like fall away, and you actually shift and go, well, I actually feel really good now. I don't feel like I'm comparing. Um, so yeah, it really does work. Like, you can't feel envious or anxious or any of those negative feelings in the same space as gratitude. So it's a really cool hack for when you are feeling anxious. Yes, of course, there's breathing techniques and all of that stuff which work, but my go-to is just to be really grateful for something in that moment, and that anxiousness just goes away. So, just 6 questions here, just to help you guys even further and show my gratitude to you guys for being here. Is if you do find yourself in that constant state of worry, or you're going through a period in your life where things aren't working the way you want them to work, here are 6 really cool questions to ask yourself, and either journal or think about them in your own mind. One is, what have you gotten to learn recently that has helped you grow? Hopefully, this session, right? Or any of the other sessions that you come to for Academy of Entrepreneurs. So, yeah, just think about, what have you learned? And it's specifically, what have you learned or read or attended? Okay. Second one is, what opportunities do you currently have that you're grateful for? So that could be that you've got a job, it could be that you're studying, it could be that you've got certain clients, it could be any opportunity that's in your life right now. 3 is, what physical abilities do you have but you take for granted? This is a biggie. Like, the fact that, we can go and walk, we can go for a run, especially now we've been in lockdown as well. How appreciative are we for the fact that we can do these things? So that's question number 3. 4 is, who is a person that I don't speak to often, but if I lost them tomorrow, it would be devastating? And when you've thought of them, take that as a cue to reach out to them as well, and show that appreciation. Number 5 is, what am I better at today than I was a year ago? This is the only time I want you guys to look back in the rearview mirror, as they say, right? Is just to see how far you've come. So what have you done in 12 months that, you are better at the moment than you were 12 months ago? And number 6 is, just think of something that someone's done for you recently, like a physical act, yeah, that they've done for you that's made you feel really good. And they're really quick 6 questions that are going to literally shift your state from worry into peace. It will literally just shift it really quickly. Thank you guys. I hope that was really helpful. And I hope that's really encouraged you to, yeah, go thank someone in person this week.
Do you know what I love the most about being grateful is that when I think it's like a lot to do with like the first step of emotional intelligence is identifying. And when you can
Yeah.
identify, you just go, okay, if I'm grateful for this chocolate or this friend or this coffee, or that an invoice got paid or this project got approved, how can I create more of that into my life? And I was once scrolling, this was maybe about 6 months, but less than a year ago, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I'm one of the richest men in the world over in Japan. And every time any money comes into his account, he says the word thank you 1,000 times. And I started doing it, and oh my God, miracles totally happened. And it's crazy. Like, whatever makes you happy, is it the sunshine or nature? Just,
Yeah.
you can say thank you in your head. It doesn't have to be just for someone else, but whatever you're saying thank you is because it makes you happy. So bring more of that into your life. And then you start acknowledging, like, okay, if every time I leave my yoga class, I'm grateful that I made it to yoga, next time when you think of staying in bed, you're not going to stay because you're going to remember that you were grateful for it the day before. So it's so powerful. Guys, please be thankful for everything all day long. Yes. Endless superpowers. Oh, and thank you, Ush, and thank you, Kiara.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Women all
Thank
together,
you.
and thank you for everybody that is joining us. So, guys, we have many more workshops coming up. The next one is about motivation. So we've got it on for next week. It is scheduled for Tuesday. There's a little chance we'll push it into Wednesday because of Melbourne Cup, but we'll let you guys know if you guys are already signed up. And we're going to have many more events together with Ush and our community at Entrepreneurs to just give back to you guys and empower you guys with all of these simple tools that make a life changing, like it just changes your life and it transforms. And that's the reality about the world. Most of the things that we need to be successful and to be happy are out there in the world, but it's, you need to show up, you need to come to these sessions, but also put it into practice, because you can hear all about being grateful. If you're not downloading the app or getting a notebook and starting today, you won't see any results. So please start and share with us the results that you get in 66 days.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just thinking 66 days is going to be 2022.
Oh my God.
We are just so
Great.
very
I'm
close.
grateful
So I'm
for
going to
this
start
year.
to do that challenge today.
Yeah.
Very
And
excited.
I was speaking to someone a few days ago around like, oh my God, another lockdown we've gone through. I'm like, oh my God, we're so lucky that we've had 2 lockdowns in winter. Like,
Yes.
how good is that? You see? It's like there's so much, like what else could you ask for? You got, like, most of us got to work online in our pajamas during winter with a heater or the fireplace next to you. Like there's so much good in everything. So yes, please be grateful, be happy. Let's make the world a better place, and share this recording as well with everybody. It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube. Share it with all of your friends, because I think this is something that our friends and family need to hear, but we also need to remind ourselves all the time. So have little techniques. Tag us, share with us, let us know. And now if you've got any questions, we're here to answer them. Anyone has any questions, anything you guys want to share with us? Joanne, Maria, another Maria, Monica. I can see a lot of girl bosses here in the community.
Yeah.
Anyone got any questions? Do you guys want to type in what you're mostly grateful for that you learned today? Oh my God, I'm grateful for the sunshine here.
I want to say something. I think the first time that I encountered gratitude was 10 years ago, probably 9, when I read this book called The Magic. And, you know, I just look at the title and I really like it because it was the magic and I was needing a little bit of magic. And then it actually changed my life because it was like a 28 days magic. It goes by argument, you know, like the love, relationship, family, money. And but what it changed in my life is, that one exactly. What changed in my life is the attitude. And then from that, like I was already like this before, but from that time, I love to say thank you even to random people on the street, you know. Even when I'm driving, I always like to be the good driver and say, thank you. Or, you know, whatever, you know, it's sometimes, you know, even random thank you without, you know, any specific reason sometimes can make the other person, you know, happy, you know. Hi, Nia, how are you?
Hi, I'm going to start saying thank you to you for inviting me and bringing me here.
So
It's a good
finally
start.
see each other. Hopefully at the beach soon.
For sure we will. The sun is shining and we need to be grateful for that too.
Yes, but you are always grateful. You know, you are one of those person. I know you need.
I always try to see the positive side and say thank you and be grateful. Yeah, it's very important and it makes the difference, definitely.
Yes, it does.
It
does. So nice.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Nate,
for having me. Next week.
Bye, buddy. Bye, everybody.
See you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for this another amazing.